Hey everybody, Tag Life Done Free. Hey, tonight I'm sitting here at the computer working on my own personal ungovernable score, and I thought that I would share with you guys how I track what I should be working on and how governable I am. Before we get into it, I want to give a big special shout out to One Step Closer, who you can find on Freesteading and you can also find on YouTube and some of them other places. This gentleman has helped me through this process. You know, I knew what I wanted it to look like, but he's the guy that actually put it all into work. So big shout out to him. Thank you very, very much. So if you're interested in how ungovernable you are, or the example that I will give today, which certainly won't be mine, but come on, let's check it out. So hey everybody, this is the UGS calculator that I've used to help track how free I am, and more importantly, what it tracks is what I need to work on. And so I thought today what I would do is I'm just going to run you guys through how it works and give you guys kind of an idea of ways you can keep yourself motivated. And really, this whole exercise is really designed for nothing else than to make people think. It's a little bit of a fun exercise. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to kind of run through it. So if you look here in the beginning, this is your introductory page. And what it shows me is the different categories that I have put in that I think define whether or not I'm governable. Okay. So the art is, what I'm trying to do is get to this 100% right here. So you can go through here and, you know, shelter, food, water, security, medical health, energy, financial, transportation, and community. Now I've assigned these ones already because they're just for the aspect of time. But as we go through, I'll actually play with some of the categories and help you see it. So my biggest category here was community, because I think community is just such a big deal. It helps pick up any of the slack kind of in the other ones. Having shelter, 15%, food, 16%. Food is a very tricky one. Also, in my opinion, should be way up there, followed by water at 10%. And, you know, they say you can only live 3 days without water, but 3 weeks without food. Where I live in my part of the country, water is way more accessible. So hence the reason I put it there. Here's the thing though, guys, you can put these numbers any way you want as long as they total 100, right? I mean, this is about being ungovernable. And so I'm not going to govern how people weigh things, because that would be governed. And well, that's not what we're going to do. Also down here, negative factors, things that can take away from your score. Things like chronic illness, chemical dependency, addictions, bad habits, and unresolved mental issues. Now, I filled this out as chronic illness and unresolved mental issues having a big impact on my overall score. But you could, again, make these any way you wanted them. So let's look at our areas of focus. Oh, hold on, back up. So these numbers that you put in here will automatically transpose to the next page. Let's look at areas of focus. So we're going to start up here in the top left-hand corner with shelter. Now, if you remember right here, it represents the number that I put in, 15% of my goal. So I chose to make all of these categories total 100 for the total points available, but you could actually weigh them any way that you wanted to. But for today's sake, I'm going to use 100. So mortgage and rent. Do you pay mortgage? Do you pay rent? So we're going to use John Q. Smith or whoever, and I'm going to make this up as I go, because obviously I'm not going to show my personal stuff because OPSEC and other reasons. But let's say that this person, mortgage and rent represents 70%, and let's say that he still paying his mortgage. That would give him a 0, right, in that category. Repairs. So he has, you know, I logged in here that 5 available points for repairs, because you're always going to have repairs and maintenance. But this guy has done some things to take the maintenance down. You know, he's installed siding that was low maintenance, roofing that was low maintenance, has a metal roof, whatever it is. Taxes at 10%. Obviously, he can't deal with taxes, neither can I, so he don't get any points for that. And community resources. Does he have a community? If he's in a community, then you know, that would obviously help. So I'm going to give him a 2 there. And he has a bug out location at his grandpa's house, so we're going to give him a complete 10. So under the component of shelter, which is 15% of the score, he scored a 14 of 100. Let's look at food. So food, what they produce. So if he can produce his own food, there's a total amount available of 40. He produces half of it, which gives him 50. What he can forage, he got 5 points. Can he cook everything that he gets? He can. what percentage is sourced locally, how healthy is his food, food storage, and again, community resources. So in this particular category, this guy scores a 63. When he looks at water, let's say he does not own a spring or a well, so he gets no points, but he has a big rain catchment system and filters and pumps to deal with it. He has no pond, let's just say. It does have some additional water stored up and obviously has the community. So now he scored a 42 of 100. Going up to the middle section, 8% of my score is going to represent security. So do I have a fence or a perimeter? Okay, so I do have a fence and a perimeter. So that gives me a 10. Alarm and cameras. I have an okay system, let's say. It's not perfect, but it's okay. Firearms and ammo. We've done some of this, which would be 10. Training for those firearms. We haven't done any training, so we don't get any points there. Our neighborhood watch is a little bit weak, and our community resources is there, but again, could be better. So in security, we've scored a 40, okay, of 100. If we get into medical, his fitness, he's a little overweight, so he gets 20%. Local support structure, he's got, again, minor, but it could use some help. He's really into medicinal herbs, so let's give him the full 10 on this one. Medical supplies, he's stored up some. First aid and medical training, he's done a little. And medical manuals and how-to books, again, he's done a little. He scored a 45. Energy. So what have they done for the overall usage to lower our amount of energy? And so this is things like LED light bulbs and stuff like that. And so this guy's done some of that, so he's good there. How about managing his costs, right? Turning heaters off, doing things like that. We're going to give him a little bit there. Energy production. He's completely dependent upon the grid. So he gets a 0 for energy production and production equipment. Emergency power. So let's say we have a small generator. We'll give him a 5. But I guess for production equipment, we should give him a couple points because he has the generator, right? So we're going to give him a 2. And then finally, those community resources, which we've already said were a little bit weak, but he scored a 27 out of 100. Back up here, we'll talk about financial debt-free. This is where this guy rocks and rolls. So he's completely debt-free. He's got a decent emergency savings, which I gave him a 5. And he's got some assets, which give him a 10. Marketable skills, we're going to give him a 5. I don't know what he does, but he's got half that. And independent income, he's got a little bit. So look at that. He scored a 75 of 100, right? So transportation, this guy again is debt-free, so he gets all 40 points for owning his vehicle. He don't really live too far from his work, which is nice. He has no non-motorized transportation. We'll give him a 10, because we said earlier his health was an issue, being able to haul his daily needs. And can he haul heavy items? He scores a 60 of 100. So let's talk about the community, right, which is super important. Again, we loaded it with a pretty heavy level. So the size of the group, so let's say there's just a few of them, we're going to give him a 7. But the production is really high, so we'll give him a 10. There is some specialized skills, we'll give him a 10. Their communication setup, they are on top of it. They're all ham radio operators that are good to go, but they don't know any groups. So his total overall UGS score was a 47. Let's deal with these negative factors real quick. So chronic illness. So remember, I mentioned earlier he's a little bit overweight, so I'm going to give him a 10 to take off his score. There's no chemical dependency, no other addictions, no other bad habits, and no unresolved mental issues, which means he's going to get a negative score of 10. So let's go and check out the summary and see how we did. Okay, so here's your summary page of your ungovernable score. So out of a total score of 1,000, right, all points considered, right? So shelter, he scored a 14, which was 14%, 63% on food, 42% on water, 40% on security, 45% on medical and health, 27% on energy, 75% in financial, good job, 60% in transportation, 47% for his community, and he gets 10 negative points, taking his total score to 40.3. So if you come down here to 40.3, he's reached the level of independent. Now, guys, there's a whole lot I would say about this. We could focus on the negative, we could focus on the positive, we could do either one, but what this would tell me is, okay, what's my lowest score? Obviously, you're minus 10, right? So you could pick up 10 points there. But I would really get into some of these other ones like shelter, right? Pay my house off and make a huge dent in that, right? What's 27? Energy. Oh my gosh, let's get some alternative energy that will help grow my score. Or let's grow the group, right? Here's another low one. Security. Can I go get some more firearms training, right? Can I put a better security system up? But this would guide me in how I went through my journey of living free. I hope this, guys, helped you, and I hope you found it interesting how I go about doing it, how I continue to try to push those boundaries. And this is exactly how I do it. I come into each one, I look at each score, and I'm just trying to push it to 100, push it to 100, push it to 100. I don't necessarily think, guys, that 100 is ever obtainable, and certainly not in every single category. But I think we can get very, very close. For any of you out there who are interested in this, I'd be happy to share it with you, but you have to email me, tag NB. So tag the letter NB at lifedonefree.com. I hope it helped you. Hope you live a little freer day than you did yesterday. Hold the line. Don't give an inch. Tag out.